Hi, right now we are doing problem number 12 for Engineering Calc Mac 2311E from the Spring 2011 Exam 1. So number 12 says, given the graph labeled g of the function y equals f of x. So this is g and it's the graph of the function y equals f of x. It says, which of the choices below could represent the graph labeled h? So this is our h graph, this is our g graph, and so this curve right here is our function f of x. And so our options are A, negative f of x plus 2, B, 2 minus f of x, C, negative f of x minus 2, and D, negative 2 minus f of x. Okay, so just looking at it, we can tell that it's going to be reflected across the x-axis, and then it's also going to be shifted down by, we don't really know how much because there's not really units on this, but looking at the answers, we can tell that the shift is going to be 2 units, right? Okay, so first of all, if we have y equals f of x and we want to flip it over the x-axis, what we have to do is we have to multiply it by a negative. So then first, to flip it over the x-axis, it's going to be y is equal to negative f of x. Okay, so that's our first step. And looking at all of these, we can tell that they've all been multiplied by negative. So far they're all right. And now we want it to be shifted down by 2 units. So we can go through these answers and kind of see what each of those graphs would be doing. Because if we look at A, so it's negative, so it's flipped across the x-axis, which is what we want. But then it's f of x plus 2, and the plus 2 is inside the function. Now, when you have something inside the function added to it, then that means it's going to shift it left or right. In our case, it's plus 2, so it's going to be shifted left. And ours isn't shifted left or anything. It's just shifted down, so A isn't right. And then we have C, which is negative again, so we like that, it's right. But then f of x minus 2. So we have our x minus 2 inside the function, which again, that minus 2, it's just going to shift your function right. It's not going to shift it up or down, so we don't want C either. So we're left with B and D. And so now we have it's flipped across the x-axis, and we also want to shift it down by 2, right? It's not going up by 2, it's going down. And so to make it go down by 2, what we do is you subtract 2 from it. So this is what the function is for our graph of h. And so now we need to go back to B and D and see which one looks like that. So B is adding 2. And so that would shift this up by 2, which would make it something like that, which is not what we want. So B isn't right. And so D is our answer. And we can check by looking at our function that we wrote. So we had negative f of x minus 2, and they just flipped it to negative 2 minus f of x, which is right. So we took this original function g, and we flipped it across the y-axis, or excuse me, the x-axis, so it looks something like this. And then we shifted it down by 2, and so then it became something like this, which is what h is. So D is the right answer for number 12.